Hi, I'm Joe Hummer. I'm the State Traffic Management Engineer at the NCDOT Mobility and Safety Division, and I'm happy to be with you today talking about Tesla versus Waymo, the best way to achieve a superb automated vehicle future. By way of disclaimer, this presentation and the essay on which it is based is completely my opinion, does not represent the views or policies of the North Carolina Department of Transportation, which is my employer. So to me, this is a really interesting question. Tesla versus Waymo. I don't know anything about the particular technologies, software or hardware of those fine companies, but I do know that they have a different approach to developing the artificial intelligence systems at the heart of driving those automated vehicles. Tesla aims to sell a large number of vehicles, put them on the road, driven by typical drivers, all types of roads, all types of conditions, and send out regular upgrades to the driving systems as those become available. Waymo, on the other hand, very much of a measured rollout in comparison to Tesla, small sample of roadways, carefully mapped out, and often with a company representative in the vehicle making sure things are as safe as they can be. The approach by Tesla ends up with a large amount of data on driving in realistic conditions. That likely feeds back into their system improvements and allows their software, their AI, to improve much faster than Waymo, and probably, likely, gets us to a safe, fully automated operation sooner than the Waymo approach. Waymo, on the other hand, likely to have much lower risk to vehicle occupants and innocent victims during this testing phase. Probably results in fewer crashes and also results in less risk from a political and regulatory framework point of view, that is, that somebody will come in and shut them down. So that sets up the essential question. Should somebody come in and rein in Tesla? Presumably some type of federal regulators. To me, it's an important question. It's an interesting question. There's strong opinions on both sides. Those in favor of reining in Tesla say that there have been already too many crashes and there'll be too many more in the future during this testing phase. On the other hand, those in favor of leaving Tesla in place say the outcome, which is full automated vehicle deployment, is worth that cost. Also, by the way, Tesla drivers are informed of the risks that they're undertaking. Unfortunately, there's no reliable crash data available to the general public at this point to help make this an empirical question. So we're left to argue back and forth based on what we know. What we know is, what I believe is, that we ought to be looking at more than just the added crashes and risks from Tesla. In other words, it's more than just a highway safety question. Even if we had good crash data, how many extra crashes Tesla is causing, I believe we should still look beyond that to other aspects. The automated vehicle future, I believe, is so beneficial in so many different ways that the sooner we can bring that on and get to full automation of driving, the better. And that in the argument that I've seen to this point, Tesla versus Waymo, many of those other aspects are overlooked. So I wrote a book that was published in 2020 called Driverless America that tried to articulate the world of automated vehicles, at least as I see it. And I want to bring in some of those aspects here to make this argument and advance my side of it, which is that I believe Tesla is on the right track, helping us to get to automated vehicle vehicles sooner than later. And oh, by the way, in the next few slides, what I'm thinking of here is a level 4 or 5 driving system that is no steering wheel or brake in the vehicle. Most of us using a subscription service rather than owning our own vehicles, and most of those vehicles would be electric. So one aspect that we should get back to is safety. The current safety picture in the US, around the world, is so awful that as soon as we can get to automated vehicles to not have those crashes, the better. AI systems will improve with time, and of course the hardware will improve as well. Human drivers, there's no prospect of improvement anytime soon. And if you're interested in so-called Vision Zero, to get us near zero fatalities due to auto crashes, automated vehicles are the only realistic way to get there, as far as I know. Let's take a moment to think about mobility. Automated vehicles will increase mobility options for many millions of Americans and people around the world. That's older people, disabled people, younger people, low-income people, all kinds of people that the current system of human drivers just serves so very badly. Extra mobility, extra lifestyle choices, extra income, just all kinds of ways that people's lives will advance with automated vehicles that is not possible with the current system. Let's think about land use for a minute. The current system of human driving means thousands, millions of acres spent basically wasted with asphalt parking. Let's stop doing that. With automated vehicles, we can get rid of most of the parking next to the buildings. Parking can be outlying on cheaper property, making walkable downtowns, bikeable downtowns, making housing much more affordable when there doesn't have to be a garage or doesn't have to be a parking space next to an apartment building, and turning that asphalt into green space. Land use is going to be much more healthy, much more people-friendly in the automated vehicle future. Economic productivity is something else we should consider. You can see the estimate there of something like $500 million per year, $500 billion per year of extra productivity, basically the time in the vehicle that can be used productively rather than driving. And that applies to millions of us, not only commuters, but salespeople and teachers and doctors and all kinds of people who go from one workplace to another during the course of a workday. That their time will be freed up and made to be much more productive. Let's think about the environment as well. Automated vehicles should be terrific for the environment, saving up to 80% of current CO2 emissions from the electric vehicle nature and from the smoother travel. A vehicle fleet half of the current size will also provide many environmental benefits. And the thousands of deaths per year in the US and probably millions worldwide due to air pollution from autos goes by the wayside. And oh, by the way, we keep much more wildlife alive than is now. So that will be terrific for the environment. There will be some negatives from automated vehicles out into the future, but when we run down the list of those, most of them can be mitigated if we're smart about that. So, you know, to cite three, and there are others, but to cite the three, what I think are the most widely cited ones, the disappearing jobs can be mitigated by retraining programs. Urban sprawl can be mitigated several different ways, and problems for rural residents can be mitigated with some subsidies for broadband coverage and for AV subscriptions. Yes, there will be negatives to the automated vehicle future, but we can mitigate many of those. One final thing to consider in making this calculation is that the rest of the world is not going to wait on what U.S. regulators and U.S. companies do. The Chinese, to take one example, are not going to wait for us. They're moving forward aggressively into the automated vehicle space, and mostly with a Tesla approach of putting the technology out there and learning and letting their AI systems grow quickly from what they're learning. So if U.S. companies dawdle, if U.S. regulators are too heavy-handed, my belief is that Chinese companies will basically take over the market in many other countries, and then in the U.S. we'll be left in an awkward situation of either accepting Chinese vehicles on our roadways or of becoming a country with a second-class transportation system. So to wrap up, Tesla versus Waymo is a really interesting question to me, considering all the aspects and especially all the positive aspects of the future automated vehicle world. My recommendation, my hope is that the regulators go easy on Tesla, let them continue doing things the way they have been doing. Make sure that they provide us data. We really should have those data to be able to make a good empirical assessment of this important question. And then the other action item, I think, is a very obvious one. One way or another, automated vehicles are coming. Let's start mitigating those negative outcomes that we see coming. Appreciate the chance to talk with you. Hope this is interesting. Hope it helps. Look forward to a discussion and a further discussion with me anytime, talking transportation by phone or by email, as you can see on this slide. Thanks a lot. Take care.